In a constitutional republic, not every leader arrives with spectacle. Some arrive with something far more durable: restraint, clarity, and a steady understanding that power is not something to perform, but something to steward. James Monroe was that kind of leader. He didn't dominate the stage the way Thomas Jefferson did with prose, or the way Alexander Hamilton did with argument. Monroe's strength was quieter, and in many ways more difficult. He governed without needing constant attention, which in any era is rare, and in ours feels almost revolutionary. Born in 1758 in Virginia, Monroe didn't grow up cushioned by excess. His upbringing taught him something modern politics often forgets: stability isn't guaranteed, it's built. Losing both parents as a teenager will rearrange priorities quickly. Monroe learned independence not as a slogan, but as a necessity. He attended the College of William and Mary, briefly. Then history intervened, and he left to join the cause of independence. Tuition was replaced with risk. During the American Revolutionary War, Monroe fought and was wounded. While others debated liberty, he paid for it in blood. That tends to clarify one's views on government power. Under Thomas Jefferson, Monroe learned that a republic depends not just on ideas, but on discipline, the kind that holds when no one is watching. 5 achievements. Statesmanship that still echoes one. The Monroe Doctrine, a calm but firm boundary. The Monroe Doctrine wasn't loud, but it was clear. The Western Hemisphere would not be recolonized. No theatrics, just a line drawn with quiet confidence. 2. The era of good feelings with honest fine print. Monroe's presidency reduced partisan heat, but didn't pretend disagreement didn't exist. He governed through tension rather than denying it, which is harder than it sounds and rarer than it should be. 3. Expansion with structure, not impulse. Florida didn't fall into American hands by accident. It was negotiated, formalized, and absorbed within a framework, proof that growth in a republic still requires rules. 4. Defense without drifting into dominance. Monroe strengthened national security while respecting constitutional limits. He understood the difference between preparedness and overreach, a distinction that requires constant maintenance. 5. The Missouri Compromise, holding the center. It didn't solve everything. It wasn't meant to, but it bought time for a divided nation. Sometimes, statesmanship isn't about finishing the argument, it's about keeping the republic intact long enough to continue it. The road to the presidency. No shortcuts, no short memory. Monroe's rise wasn't dramatic, it was deliberate. Soldier, legislator, diplomat, governor. Each role added weight, not just visibility. By the time he ran in 1816, he wasn't selling himself. He was presenting a record. By 1820, opposition had nearly disappeared. Not because disagreement vanished, but because trust, at least for a moment, outweighed it. No viral slogans, no manufactured outrage, just a general sense that this was someone who understood both the machinery and the limits of power. The statesman's lesson: engine, brakes, and integrity. Monroe's life reinforces a simple but demanding truth. A constitutional republic requires both motion and restraint. The Constitution provides the engine. The principles behind the Bill of Rights provide the brakes. Too much engine and you risk overreach. Too much brake and nothing moves. The art of statesmanship is knowing when to apply each, and having the integrity to do so even when it's inconvenient. That extends to everything. The power of the purse must remain accountable. Election integrity must remain unquestioned in its legitimacy. Medical and personal freedom must remain anchored in the idea that individuals are not subjects of the state. These aren't modern inventions. They are the continuation of the same constitutional architecture Monroe helped preserve. Then and now, the architecture still stands. We often think the challenges of the 1820s are a world away from the digital blockades of 2026. But look closer at the architecture. Like Monroe, some don't arrive through a standard career path or by winning a shouting match in the town square. The journey can be quieter, marked by study, discipline, and moments that don't trend, but still matter. The kind of preparation that looks less like spectacle and more like a long walk on a cold morning, thinking through first principles while the world scrolls past. Monroe's statesmanship was defined by three things that still resonate: substance over spotlight. While modern systems reward noise, mute buttons, viral clips, distractions, serious leadership still depends on focus. Monroe governed without turning leadership into theater. Stewardship, not performance, was the job. The quiet line in the sand: Monroe had his doctrine, a clear boundary stated without excess. Today, the principle remains: certain foundations are not negotiable. Election integrity, the power of the purse, and medical freedom function as stabilizing weights, what older language might call honest scales, keeping a republic from tipping too far in any direction. Governing through tension. The era of good feelings wasn't the absence of disagreement, it was the management of it. A republic doesn't eliminate friction, it channels it. The steady hand is not the loudest one, but the one that refuses to let the structure collapse under pressure. Final thought: quiet doesn't mean weak. They say quiet doesn't mean weak. Monroe proved it. A leader who doesn't need to announce their importance every 5 minutes is often the one doing the work that actually matters, keeping a system balanced, the principles intact, and the experiment alive. His path was methodical. No shortcuts, no short memory. And that may be the most relevant lesson of all. Because a constitutional republic doesn't ultimately depend on volume or visibility. It depends on people, citizens and leaders alike, who understand that integrity, restraint, and responsibility are not optional features. They are the structure holding everything up. Help us restore our republic. Vote Rachel Fox for U.S. Senate this November 3rd.